For thousands of years, a story has been whispered through the ages, a tale of a utopian civilization that vanished in a single catastrophic day and night. A city of unmatched wisdom, incredible technology, and immeasurable wealth, swallowed by the sea and lost to time. This is the legend of Atlantis, a myth so powerful it has inspired generations of explorers, scientists, and dreamers to search for a hidden truth beneath the waves. But is it just a legend? Was this magnificent city a real place, a lost jewel of the ancient world that historians have yet to uncover? Or is it something more, a powerful myth, a philosophical story, or perhaps even a dangerous echo of a real-world disaster? Today, we will dive into the depths of this enigma. We'll explore the ancient words that first gave birth to the myth, follow the paths of intrepid explorers who searched for it, and examine the most compelling scientific evidence that might finally reveal the truth. This is Chronicle Cube. Part 1. The Birth of a Myth. Our journey begins not with an archaeological discovery, but with a book. The earliest and only surviving account of Atlantis comes from the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, a man we know more for his ideas than for his historical accounts. In his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, written around 360 BC, Plato introduces the story of Atlantis as a historical fact, passed down from ancient Egypt to the Greek statesman Solon, and finally to his own family. The setting of the story is the 6th century BC, with Solon, a wise lawgiver, traveling to Egypt. There, a priest tells him of a great city that existed 9,000 years before his time. The priest chastises the Greeks for their amnesia, stating, "You have forgotten your own history, for your city, Athens, was once a rival to a great empire, the Empire of Atlantis." Plato's detailed account of Atlantis is a masterpiece of world-building. He describes a society of extraordinary wealth and sophistication, ruled by the descendants of the sea god Poseidon. The city itself was a marvel of engineering, a series of concentric rings of land and water, each separated by a canal and connected by magnificent bridges. The central island was a mile across, home to Poseidon's temple and a grand palace lined with gold, silver, and the rare metal aurichalcum, which glowed with a fiery light. The Atlanteans were said to possess a deep understanding of natural law, and their incredible technology was a reflection of their power. But virtue, in Plato's story, was fleeting. For a time, the people of Atlantis lived in harmony, their advanced society guided by wisdom. But as generations passed, their divine nature was diluted. Greed and arrogance took hold. They began a campaign of military conquest, seeking to dominate the world. This hubris, Plato says, angered the gods, who watched as the Atlanteans became corrupt and materialistic. In a single day and in a single night, the powerful island was struck by a series of devastating earthquakes and floods. It was swallowed by the ocean, sinking into the depths and disappearing into the sea. For over 2 millennia, scholars and adventurers have grappled with the single question: was Plato telling the truth? Was this an honest historical account, a memory of a real-world catastrophe passed down through generations? Or was it a powerful allegory, a myth Plato invented to illustrate his philosophical ideas about the ideal society and the dangers of human hubris? Most classicists believe the latter, but for many, the story is too detailed, too compelling to be pure fiction. It begs for a real-world explanation. Part 2. The Hunt for the Lost Continent. If Atlantis was real, where did it go? For centuries, adventurers, scholars, and treasure hunters have scoured the globe, following every possible lead, both logical and fantastical. The search for a real Atlantis is a search for a place, a geological footprint, a forgotten kingdom swallowed by the earth. The most popular and scientifically credible candidate for a real-world Atlantis lies in the Mediterranean Sea, specifically on the island of Thera, now known as Santorini. Sometime around 1600 BC, the island was home to the flourishing Minoan civilization. The Minoans were a highly advanced maritime culture, known for their elaborate palaces, intricate frescoes, and a sophisticated drainage system that ran beneath their city of Akrotiri. All these elements, a powerful seafaring people, advanced technology, beautiful art, echo Plato's description of Atlantis. Then, a massive volcanic eruption ripped the island apart. It was one of the largest eruptions in human history, known as the Minoan eruption, and it triggered a tsunami that devastated the Minoan coastal cities. The eruption was so powerful that it plunged the center of the island into the sea, leaving behind only a crescent-shaped caldera. This cataclysmic event, a city of advanced people destroyed in a single day, bears a striking resemblance to Plato's account. Could the story have been passed down for over 1,000 years, from the Minoans to the Egyptians and finally to Plato, distorted and embellished over time? This theory is compelling, but it has one major problem. The Minoans were not a global military power, as Plato described, and their civilization, while severely weakened, did not disappear in one day. The search didn't stop in the Mediterranean. Plato said Atlantis was beyond the Pillars of Hercules, leading many to look to the Atlantic Ocean. The Azores are a group of volcanic islands that have been a popular candidate. Some have proposed that they are the remaining mountaintops of a once great continent. However, geological evidence shows the Azores were formed by volcanic activity and never were part of a large sunken landmass. More recently, a massive geological formation in Mauritania, known as the Eye of the Sahara, or the Richat structure, has gained significant attention. Its concentric circles and its location in what would have been a sea in ancient times seem to mirror Plato's description of Atlantis's canals and rings. Located on land in West Africa, its elevation and geographic features, including mountains to the north and a river that once flowed from the center, match Plato's words with uncanny precision. Yet this theory, too, has major flaws. The formation is a geological structure, not the remains of a city, and its creation is dated to hundreds of millions of years ago, long before any human civilization. Its viral popularity on YouTube shows how much we want to believe. Then there are the truly fantastic theories, those that place Atlantis in locations that defy logic. Some suggest it was in Antarctica, a continent only covered by ice after a catastrophic pole shift. This theory, put forth by researchers like Charles Hapgood, suggests that a cataclysmic shift in the Earth's crust moved a landmass to the South Pole. Others have searched for it in the jungles of Bolivia, or even in the waters off the coast of Japan, near the Yagunani Monument, a massive underwater rock formation that some believe is a lost city. While these ideas are exciting and fuel the imagination, they lack any credible archaeological or geological support. The Yagunani Monument, for example, is almost certainly a natural rock formation, not an ancient structure. For every search, for every new theory, the truth seems to slip further away. The lack of physical evidence for a single, powerful empire that sank in a day has led the majority of the scientific community to a clear conclusion. Part 3. Science versus Myth. In the world of archaeology and geology, the search for a literal Atlantis has been largely abandoned. Experts now approach Plato's story not as a treasure map,
but as a philosophical puzzle. They argue that the immense detail in his account, the aurichalcum, the concentric rings, the sophisticated plumbing, was Plato's way of creating a perfect, idealized society. By showing its downfall, he could illustrate a moral lesson about the dangers of greed and materialism. It was a literary device, not a historical document.
However, the Thera-Minoan theory is a fascinating compromise. It doesn't claim to have found Atlantis itself, but rather the real-world event that may have inspired Plato's story. The Minoan civilization, like the Atlanteans, was a technologically advanced sea power. Its sudden and violent collapse due to a volcanic eruption is a powerful event that could have been passed down through generations. This is a common phenomenon in folklore. Real-life disasters like floods or volcanic eruptions often become woven into myths and legends over time. The story gets exaggerated, details get added, and it transforms from a historical account into an epic tale. Geologists have also provided a scientific explanation for why the idea of a sunken continent is impossible. The theory of plate tectonics, the movement of the Earth's crust, shows that continents don't simply sink. They are a fundamental part of the planet's surface. While land can be submerged due to changes in sea level or coastal erosion, an entire continent disappearing overnight is a geological impossibility. Furthermore, the immense scale of a catastrophe that could swallow a continent would leave behind undeniable evidence across the globe, evidence that scientists have not found. The legend of a great flood that destroyed an ancient civilization is not unique to Atlantis. The story of a devastating flood is a recurring motif in mythologies around the world, from the biblical story of Noah to the Epic of Gilgamesh. This suggests that the human experience of cataclysmic floods is so powerful and universal that it has become part of our collective consciousness, a shared trauma that gets expressed through our stories. The myth of Atlantis, then, could be seen as Plato's version of this universal flood myth, giving it a Greek setting and a moral lesson. So, for the majority of the scientific community, the search for a literal Atlantis is over. It was a great story, a powerful myth, but not a historical reality. And yet, the myth persists. Part 4. The Enduring Allure. If Atlantis is just a myth, why do we continue to search for it? Why do we buy books, watch documentaries, and debate its existence with such passion? The answer lies not in history, but in human psychology. The myth of Atlantis gives us several things we desperately crave. First, it offers a sense of wonder and possibility. It speaks to our deepest fears and desires, the idea that a perfect, beautiful world could be lost in an instant. It gives us hope that a hidden, more advanced world might still exist just beyond our reach. Second, it appeals to our sense of discovery. The idea that there is a forgotten civilization just waiting to be found is a tantalizing thought that can justify countless adventures and expeditions. The myth also provides a comforting explanation for the imperfections of our own world. If a great civilization can be destroyed by greed, it's a moral lesson we can apply to our own society. It's an archetypal story that we can project onto our own lives and our own history, reminding us of the fragility of even the most powerful nations. Today, the search for Atlantis continues in a new form. Instead of maps and diving expeditions, we have online forums, digital reconstructions, and a whole new set of theories. We now see the myth woven into video games, comic books, and blockbuster movies, from the Indiana Jones series to Aquaman, ensuring that the legend of Atlantis will never truly die. Modern hoaxes, from the so-called Atlantis roads off the coast of Bimini to fraudulent underwater photographs, prove that the desire to believe in the lost city is still incredibly strong. The truth in the myth. So, what is the ultimate conclusion? After centuries of searching, the evidence for a real, historical Atlantis, as described by Plato, is non-existent. There is no proof of a lost continent, no city of gold on the seafloor. From a scientific perspective, the myth is just that,
a myth. But to dismiss it as pure fiction would be a mistake. The story of Atlantis is a powerful archetype. It serves as a reminder that great civilizations, even ones that seem invincible, can fall. It's a cautionary tale about human arrogance and the delicate balance between progress and nature. It's a story about a hidden truth. Perhaps the real truth of Atlantis is not where it was, but what it means. It's the story we tell ourselves to find meaning in our own history, to understand our own struggles, and to never stop searching for the knowledge that lies just beneath the surface. This is Chronicle Cube. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating enigmas.